Hi, Aquarius. I'm sorry. I've had some family stuff going on, and then today I was like, all right, today it's time to get super cute and cash cute, super cute. Hey, it's the new me. And then I had another family thing happen, but this one I want to talk to you about. The feedback that I got today from my child's school really didn't have anything to do with me at all. But I realized from what they said that he's bored. And that's an interesting predicament to be in, and one that probably a lot of you are nodding your head right now at, because you're recognizing or remembering being there yourself. Often Aquarians are precocious, which means that they develop before the timetable that is generally awarded to a certain age group. Oh, these are the milestones. Aquarians are generally precocious. And right now, you really feel, or will in the next couple of hours, as it is the 15th, and this is when the melee starts. Welcome. Buckle up. The things you will get asked to walk away from, the cliffs you will be asked to walk off of. It's Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz level shit. Are you ready? See, for the first 2 weeks of the month, you've just been lazing around. Either you've been just emotionally occupied with a lover or a past lover that you wish would come back, or showing out on Instagram for an ex who's still following you, or trying to get back in touch with someone who's an Aquarian who ghosted you, or there's been like this, Aquarians and love are such an interesting combination. It's so hot and cold. So if you've been doing the hot and cold thing with an Aquarian, or you are one yourself, things have been steamy. Oh yes, and they will get steamier. If you don't want to be in a relationship, don't go out. Because if you go out, you'll probably get in a relationship. That's love luck, in case you're wondering. See, whatever you've been doing for the past 2 weeks, regardless of how into it you were or not, is toxic. I think you know too. And we just get that right out of the way at the beginning. Okay, you know what? Come on. Move along. Now, there's some real potential here. Now, how many of you the rest of this reading will apply to, because you'll be able to get past that Fool card, I don't know. You're generally a pretty tough bunch. So I'm going to go ahead and hope a lot of you. But don't be fooled by the Fool card. It requires guts of titanium, guts of adamantium. Your stomach has to be very strong. Because when you first walk off the cliff, you know, bottom of the deck, when you first walk off the cliff, you may have a moment of, uh-oh, right. And most people can't sustain the jump in the stomach from the dip, you know? When you feel that first dip on the roller coaster and you go, oh, wait, why did I do this again? Why do I keep doing this to myself? What am I doing? Wheel of Fortune's like, no, I got you. Ace of Cups is like, we got you. But we can't push you off the cliff. You gotta walk off the cliff. It's a funny thing about free will. Not even love can force you. Not even love can force you to receive. Even love has to be received. Even love has to be invited in. No one can force you to love them. No one can force you to be loved. Someone can love you all they want, but if you don't want it. So the receptive part, that's the Fool. That's you being like, I'm open to something new in this or that arena of my life. Yeah, okay. And then the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Cups comes in specifically and says, hey, are you ready for something new in terms of money? Are you ready for something new in terms of love? Are you? I love in Alice in Wonderland where he keeps saying to her, the caterpillar keeps saying, who are you? Well, who are you? Are you defined by these characteristics here? Are you just a brave, smart person? Are you a precocious teenager? Are you a lucky, smart person with a strong, fixed, stubborn personality? Are you someone dominant and fearsome in love, mysterious, a player considered by most? Is that all there is to you, Aquarius? Of course not. It doesn't even come close. So why would you then define yourself or let other people define you in such limited terms? The Fool is about you getting out of the shackles that you insist on placing on your own feet. Who are these people that you refuse to get away from? What are these projects? What are these concerns that you don't address? What are these contracts that need to be ripped up? Who are these lovers who have moved on and yet hook you along, dragging you behind the car anyway? Why? Get away, run away. Isn't that a song? Run away. Run away and save your life. Run away, run away. Run away if you want to survive. Run away. Oh, 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 oh. Run away. Oh, oh, oh. Right? That's the song, right? I remember it because I was singing it at my high school retreat, and my best friend, who's Capricorn, was like, that sounds terrible. I want to run away. I was having a really good time, too. Two of Wands. Boy, it all just seems to says, what it seems to says? It all just seems to say, get away. Get away from the obvious notion or something that someone has put in your head, or some limiting dynamic that you are just so, I think you think it's the only road to your happiness, or there's no way to navigate around it. I'm not sure why you feel so hopeless about it, but that just makes the Fool and the Two of Wands even more powerful. Hey, you want out. You deserve out. You need some freedom. But be careful, because in the midst of taking this freedom, there is a tendency for you to get too, boasty and overconfident. And as my dad likes to say, over smart and a bit, conceited. There's such a fine line with you guys. Be bold, be brave, get it done. Abundance coming, love coming. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a dick. When it starts to happen for you, don't look down on other people. It's kind of easy if you're not a jerk. And most of you aren't, so it should be fine. But those of you who are, you might not have the easiest month. So 8 of Pentacles and Queen of Swords. When it comes to work, I think there's a few things that you would love to say in people in positions of power. I don't know what's going on with my inability to speak today. I think it's because I wanted to express myself about what I heard today and I didn't. And so I'm tripping over my words because I have a lot to say. And I don't feel like I can say anything without insulting an entire school system. You know, he's not tired, he's yawning because he's bored, because this is boring. Uh, and it's bothering me, I think. And of course, that ties into what's going on here. It's so very obvious that you are working beneath your standards and beneath your skill level and perhaps even your taste level. In terms of work, in terms of partnerships, in terms of love, it looks like we're talking about all of it. And there is a general level up needed for Capricorn. So you're just around the corner. You have that coming up for you next. But let me put this in perspective for you. What position do you want to be in terms of freedom by the time your season comes around? By the time you get to your birthday, what does freedom look like for you? And can you attain it by then? In terms of your emotional self-sufficiency, perhaps your financial stability, perhaps just security in general. Can you see yourself in the next, 3 months, getting to a point where you are singularly stable and authentically you, and that is reflected in how much you're getting paid or how you're being treated or how you're treating yourself or all of the above. I think I understand why the words aren't coming out. It's strange because you guys are so smart, but you're gentle, so you don't like to say things. So the Gemini in me is just say it, but your energy is no, not like that. No, let's, oof. What an internal struggle. No wonder the Fool and the Two of Wands, let it out. The Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Cups is there. The Queen of Swords is there to be whatever it is, the universe is whatever you got to say, just tell me, I won't be mad, we'll deal with it. And you have, I think a lot of you have been carrying around this Taurus card, just keeps coming up. I think a lot of you have been dealing with earth energy that has just been so miserable for so long. And now you're finding out either that person has moved on or that person is in some way trying to rope you back in or something. You're disillusioned. I think that you hung on to something out of sheer loyalty or spite or stubbornness or what, and now you're realizing that it was a mistake. So it's it's not just about saying I was wrong. I defended something over and over and over and over again, and it was wrong, and now you got to move past it, but you have to admit that you were wrong, and then you can move past it, and then all this great stuff. But your ego is I wasn't wrong, but you were. And if you're still at the point where you think you weren't, there's probably 10 people around you who can tell you that you should stop entertaining whatever you're entertaining because it's not good for you. But it's I'd rather keep entertaining the thing that's wrong or keep acting like it's not happening instead of having to admit that I perhaps championed a cause, a person, whatever it was, that was not the move. And it's okay to be wrong. That's another thing that's tying into the school conversation. It's okay to be bored. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to be wrong. You don't have to be perfect all the time just because you're smarter than everybody. It's not fair. You're still a human being. You still are allowed to make mistakes and then say later, hey, you know what? I still deserve really good things. I just made a couple of mistakes. And yeah, maybe I was standing for the wrong people and maybe I really didn't get it, even though everyone was trying to tell me. But still, I still deserve love, even though I'm, you know what I mean? It doesn't make me unworthy of companionship. It doesn't make me unworthy of finding someone or excelling in my career or having my voice heard in my career or getting paid what I deserve or, switching educations or having more of a voice in my family. Just because I have perhaps done wrong things before or my judgment has been questionable before, it doesn't mean that I'm not allowed to change. my mind, change direction. You see where I'm going with this. But the admission, perhaps not even of guilt, it's not like you have to say, it's not like you're culpable. It's not like the blame falls on you. There's a misstep in judgment here. You thought it was something it wasn't, and that's okay. And of course you're like, no, but people said, and maybe I knew it, and that's a whole other conversation, whether you knew it or not. Now you know it. And of course that's what the Fool's referring to, something you already know, you already found this stuff out. The last, 2 weeks have been what they've been. You found out what you needed to find out, and here we are. Now, if you've got a Taurus in your life, Aquarius, that's very, very important to you. You may be a little bit concerned about their relationship and how they're doing. This person means a lot to you, very much. They mean a whole lot to you. They're in a great position of authority over you, and especially if they're dealing with a fire sign, those two people might have some hashing out and talking to do, but I really think it's going to be, actually, let's look at these cards and then we'll talk about that. It's going to be okay one way or another, but there's some conversations that need to be had, even with you. The Judgment card is here, even with you. Everything that I just kind of was able to get out through this reading, it's kind of a workbook for you. One way or another, you need to wring these truths out of yourself, as uncomfortable as it may be, as much as you may have to stutter or fumble over your words or say the wrong things. Have the humility to be like, oh, that's not what I meant to say, and keep moving and correct yourself and articulate. Because the pressure and the desire that then ensues to be perfect that is put on you is keeping you from saying and doing and admitting and moving forward. And it's a shame. We don't need to do that. Okay? So let's look at these cards. Love you. Hi, Aquarius. Boy, it's just one of those days where you just want to say everything. Just say it. Just take a chance. Just express yourself. You got so much you want to say. In terms of work, if you feel like you're being neglected, if you feel like the establishment is leaving you behind, if you feel like the establishment is purposefully neglecting you, if you feel like the establishment is purposefully out, like nitpicking at you, it's because the universe is pushing you towards a new direction. It wants you much more independent. It wants you doing your own thing. I'm not saying you have to get out of relationships. I'm not saying you have to change your career. But I'm saying if you have been thinking about those things, the next 2 weeks are not going to let you alone. The general energy of this reading is you're too good for this. And you're like, I know, but it took me so long to see it that I don't want to admit it. And the reading's like, yeah, but that's dumb. And you're like, don't call me dumb. And the reading's like, I'm not calling you dumb. It's dumb. So what's the it? It's the same for all fixed signs. The it is your pride. And how appropriate here, these two, to be placed that way. On the one hand, you have someone who wants control of nothing and has no pride whatsoever. On the other hand, you have someone who wants control over everything that is under the dominion of her sword and has all the pride in the world. sits high above it all in the clouds even, while the Fool decides to walk off from a great height and plummet, of course, downwards. That would be the logical thing. Of course, the logical thing here would be that I am in the clouds and I will remain so. But how different these outcomes go. The one who takes the chance to walk off the cliff doesn't in fact plummet at all, but instead is rolled by the wheel of fortune, plopped right into that cup of abundance there, spilled over into a sense of freedom, free will, finally feeling stimulated enough, sated, satiated. And on the other hand, you have the will and the desire to rule and control and dictate and have it your way within the confines that have been set for you, instead of breaking through the confines and making your own thing to remain within it but grow bitter and angry within it. Not being able to say, hey, this is toxic as fuck. And of course, you have that option. You can continue to work steadily towards nothing, to continue to put money in somebody else's pocket, to continually belong to someone who belongs to another, to continually play second fiddle to someone else's ambitions. However this is playing out for you, to live your own life and have all the joy you deserve, and yet somehow still only be doing it for someone else to notice. These are the traps of this journey here. And these are the blessings of this journey here. In September, from the 15th onward, you walk in the middle. Before now, you weren't even on this road. You were trying to figure out where all the pieces went. And it's been quite a ride. I agree. But it's a ride I can't help you with. You pick the players. I can just show you what positions they're going to play. So you chose your players and these are their positions. I suggest you do this. And why do I suggest you do this? And what is this? This is expressing yourself the most honestly you know how. Say whatever it is that you need to say. And stop being stuck on whoever it is from your past, especially if it's an earth sign, especially if it's an earth sign that's moved on. Whatever your misery was with them doesn't mean that that's the misery they're in now. Conversely, whatever misery you had with them isn't a misery you want to get back into. Hello. But communicating about what it is that you feel and what it is that you want, even if it is only to yourself, is the only way to assure that you'll have the guts to walk off of that cliff. How are you walking off a cliff and you don't even have a motivation? Why do you think actors are always given some sort of a motivation? Because without that hidden intellectual element of why am I doing this, it becomes very obvious in the actor's performance that it's not going anywhere. It's not compelling. It's not a journey. No matter how well that person is able to emote, they don't have an arc. Right? What's the motivation that leads one to take this step? What gives your actions that oomph, that gives a performer that edge over everyone else when they really truly understand the motivation of a character? How can they mimic down to the smallest things like a tick, a clearing of the throat that's perfectly timed? Why? Because the motivation, if you live with it long enough, it sits in your bones, it becomes subconscious. Your body reacts to things based on this need, this desire, this want. What is yours? I have a feeling up until now it's been other people, and damn, that's gotta hurt. Because to be motivated by other people in your life means that there will rapidly come a time when you have no motivation at all, because people ain't shit. Sorries. But here, Virgo season is like, okay, finish messing around, relax with all the nonsense, relax with the one night stands, relax with the leading people on for no reason, relax with the showing out on Instagram, and like really tell me, what's your motivation? How much do you really want to be free? From whatever construct you find yourself now wanting to tear down, and I'm with you, but you're not going to be able to break through that wall if you have no follow through. That follow through is your motivation. How many different metaphors can I give you? And why? Why do we want to? Why do we need to? Because we instinctively know that although there may be power and also some weird, twisted form of companionship on this road, it's not enough. You know it's not enough, no? There is but one singular free road for the Aquarian, and there always has been only one. You guys are like the fucking Highlander of the Zodiac, and you know it. And I respect it. Do you respect it? Good. I love you. You know this. I'll see you next time in a second. Bye.